everyone. Happy weekend and welcome to our AI Republic podcast. And we're so excited to see you here again. I'm
Dami na.
joined Doc and Carlo. Yeah, and can you believe over 1 month, actually over 2 months na tayo nagpo-podcast, diba? Parang ang tagal na din. So today we have a really special topic for you guys that I'm personally excited about. So we're going to be talking about AI image and video generation. And so for this, I'm actually gonna hand the floor over to Carlo.
Okay, thanks, Amber. I'm gonna go over image generation first. There's a lot being talked about, like what it does, what it doesn't do, and what you could possibly do with it. I just want to go over some of the top platforms and show you what it's good at, what it's not good at. All right, so here's some examples of AI images in the wild. Right, so this is advertisement by BMW, but basically this is a concept car where the design changes um, dynamically, and this is a older process called GAN, which is a model that I'll explain later, but it's very different from the models that we have now called diffusion models, right? This is from a nonprofit called Classic, and they were able to do this over 3 weeks. This is for context, like a TV spot like that would probably take months of planning and production, and they did this over 3 weeks, right? And this is kind of where the difference is with AI images and where we are with everything. And just to show you where all of this kind of sits with image generation. So if you think about AI as computers designing to solve problems, and then a subset of that is machine learning, subset of that is neural networks, subset of that is large language models, and a subset of small subset of AI right now is image generation, right? And image generation just creates new images by using diffusion models and analyzing large data patterns. So kind of think about it like AI is the chef, data is the recipes, and models are the recipe book. Sorry, data is the ingredients, and models are the recipe book. So quick timeline. People have been trying to make images with computers for the longest time. For the first 50 years of computers, images were made by using letters to create an image. That's called ASCII art. But now we have generative AI that's making image models. So big breakthrough happened in 2012 with ImageNet. Basically, like a bunch of the researchers now known as like the godfathers and godmothers of AI, in Tagalog, yung mga tita and tito ng AI, were had a breakthrough for training large image models and teaching them the difference between different images, and also that was the start of like people trying to make new stuff with images, right? So it was just discriminative AI back then. In June 2014, Ian Goodfellow invents GANs, and if you remember the video I showed earlier with the BMW thing, that's called a GAN, but it's basically a generative adversarial network, and I'll get through that later. March 2015, just a year later, some researchers found a way to do more images at scale, meaning it requires a lot less data and a lot less processing than GANs. That's called diffusion models. And then, fast forward a little bit, NVIDIA creates a style GAN, but basically they're using a GAN architecture to generate hyper-realistic faces. And this is kind of the start of deepfakes, right? I won't go through all of these, but in 2019, this painting was generated by AI, called The Portrait of Edmund de Bellamy from the Field de Bellamy. And this was sold at one of the big auction houses. I think it was Christie's, for like $300,000. And that ignited a boom of people wanting to get into AI image generation because like all of a sudden like it was valued by the market for something, right? Including me. I made my first image model in 2019 and sold that, but like it wasn't. But this is made by a GAN, and you could tell it's not like super specific. It's not too defined, but there's something about it that looks somewhat familiar. And at that point, like 2019, it was amazing that AI could do something like this. Like you could tell that's kind of like a person, right? And like, and fast forward to today, and it'll show you a lot more about what we can do today. But just keep this in mind that this is the state of the art and super valuable in 2019, right? Um, then we go on to 2021. OpenAI launches DALL-E, which is their image generator based on diffusion models. And basically, you can like type in an image or type in your description and starts making an image. And it was like better than that. March 2022 was when Midjourney, which is the state of the art and image generation right now, released their first model. Followed next month by OpenAI releasing DALL-E 2, which is really good, almost, well, definitely better than Midjourney at that point. And then the big thing that happened in image generation was that there's a startup called Stability AI that launched Stable Diffusion, and they made it open source to make a text-to-image model. And that's where a lot of these new image models are based on because it's open source, right? So you can put it on your own servers, tweak it however you want to, and start creating more images based on what you think the values are. And I'll go over six of the top image generators right now. So DALL-E by OpenAI. And this is all using the same prompt. Cool Filipino old man with an orange coffee cup, right? And obviously various levels of interpretation based on that. So there's DALL-E, doesn't look quite Filipino. Leonardo's pretty good. Ideogram's pretty good, kind of cool. I'd hang out with him. Grok, maybe Filipino. Adobe Firefly has their own PixArt, and this is how Midjourney kind of interprets all of this, right? This is two different ones, so one for a woman and one for a man, and a young woman and a young man. And this is like what's great about Midjourney is like it comes out super photorealistic. And I use photorealistic as an example because that's the hardest one to create out of all of these, right? If you wanted to do like a cubist art version of one of these, all kinds of all of them are good at that because like there's no really right way to get cubism, right? There's a few wrong ways to get it, but it's really hard to create a photorealistic person with the fingers right, with the hands right, with the head right, like all these things. And it's getting pretty good. Like you could use this for an advertisement without and you own the rights to it because you created it. And how we kind of think about it at Skyrocket AI, where I'm the chief AI officer. So we have guidelines for this, right? We don't just want to generate any images and infringe on any artist's way of making a living. So we think about it this way, and this is like something that I talked to Doc deeply about before developing this. One, on originality, so we never use like another person's name or another artist's name or reference their work in any of our prompts because we want to make it transparent for our clients. So because we can, as an ad agency, we can create assets for clients, but at the end of the day, the clients are still going to be going to have the biggest risk to the brand if like we use something that we're not supposed to be using. But on originality, transparent creation, client confidentiality, traceability, and then human judgment, right? Like we always want to keep some human in the loop. And how I think about images right now is that, oops, how I think of images right now is that it does 80% of the work. It doesn't do the whole thing, right? And I'll go through some examples right now, live with everybody.
Actually, before you go through examples, I have a quick question about the deck, if you guys don't mind, for Carlo and Doc, and also just for our listeners out there. So you talked about the timeline in terms of AI image generation, and you talked about the difference between GANs versus diffusion models. I guess just briefly, in your experience, like the experience of, Doc and Carlo, what's the biggest difference you've seen in image generation when you're using GANs versus diffusion models? Like whether it's related to the process or to the output?
GANs take a lot of data to train something, right? It's really great at like the hyper realistic stuff, but it's not so great at getting a cubist rendering of an image, right? I think diffusion model, so real quick how they kind of work. GANs is a really interesting architecture. It's kind of like a writer editor relationship, meaning like there's two neural networks. One is called a generator, one's called a discriminator. The generator, they're both trained on the same data. The generator's job is to just keep making things. The discriminator's job is to say that's not good enough, right? So like just like a writer, editor, or maybe like a student and a teacher. And it makes millions of iterations of all these images, and then eventually it'll get to a point where like it'll be close enough, right? Whereas the diffusion model, it's just like how it sounds, right? So it takes a bunch of images, like let's say you have 1,000 pictures of dogs, right? It starts to put noise into the image, so it starts to diffuse it to the point where like it's not recognizable for a human, but recognizable for the computer to understand what the essence of a dog is, basically, and then from there it could start generating all kinds of things because it already understands what a dog is. But yeah, basically for most people, the only difference is that diffusion models are way more accurate for most cases, but I still think like GANs are the main usage for like image swapping technologies like deepfakes and stuff, right? But for everything else, diffusion models are much better. Doc, you want to add to that? Did I get all of that, any of that right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I think GANs are really better at producing output, but the architecture, if you want to get a bit technical, diba, there are two models, a generator and a discriminator, and they kind of fight. And the discriminator needs to know, let's say you want to produce pictures of cats, then the discriminator needs to be trained with cats. And then the generator will try to guess what a cat looks like until it fools the generator will try to guess until it fools the discriminator. So if you think about it, if you wanted to produce a specific image, it takes a while because you have to retrain the discriminator and then the generator will produce the fake. While for a diffusion model, it's like the reverse of a image classifier. So you get images and then you embed them with labels. No, that's the text embedding. And then the reason why it's called diffusion is intentionally you create a diffused version of an image. So if it's a picture of a cat, you get a noisy image of a cat, and then before it's denoised back to the original, it already has the term, let's say an orange cat. And the reason why they did that was it allows you to now create composite images. For example, an image of an orange cat running on a street. So each of these words is tokenized into labels. And then the denoised version of the image will have all of those elements. No? So it was a very creative way of pretty much composing an original quote unquote image without having to go through a lengthy training process for a GAN. Although don't get me wrong, the training for a diffusion model also takes a lot of compute because basically you're retraining all of these labels. That's why data labeler or image labeler is a new job. You have people, drawing bounding boxes on photos, labeling it with whatever the components are, being as creative and as as comprehensive as possible. Because the idea is to capture all of these labels. And then later, when you merge that with the other architecture, which is the transformer, diba? That's the architecture for a large language model. Well, what they learned was a transformer is about creating sequences of tokens. And of course, people assume tokens are words, but tokens can be anything. Tokens can be pixels, for example. So if you have a diffusion model that creates a series of pixels from labels, the transformer can guess what are the next likely pixels to follow, and that's how you create the video. No, that's how you create the animation. And the first few examples of those text to video was also clunky because I guess they hadn't trained enough videos. But over time, especially when Sora came out, although it's not publicly available, it showed the potential for transformers and diffusion together. No, so diffusion will create a frame, and transformer will guess what the next version of that frame looks like, and then keep doing that until you have full full fidelity video. No, so that's why later we're going to be starting with images, but then how does that become video? It's still transformers. So that's how the video generators like Kling, Runway, o may iba, Luma. I don't know if this GPT-4 already create video. Parang wala pa. That's supposed to be Sora yata, right? But they haven't released it, no?
I think there's zero chance they're going to release it in GPT-5
Yeah.
for all kinds of lawsuits. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess.
Yeah, thank you both. So the images we're gonna look at now, Carlo, are they're mostly based diffusion models, tama ba?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
cool. Thank you guys.
I'm gonna run through this. I'll make a couple of images using the same prompts in different generators. So this one is this one's ChatGPT. The only way you could use the image generator, I think, is with the paid version, but you could also use it on Bing. Their image generation tool is free, but it's based on DALL-E 2. Or sorry, is it DALL-E 3 now? Whatever DALL-E version it is now. All right, so let's make a white French bulldog and a magical forest. Because it's mostly text-based, I have to specify it's an image. And I'll do the same prompt in the other ones, right? This is Midjourney, same thing. Leonardo, launch it up.
And so for our listeners or viewers rather, which ones of these are paid and or are all of these paid for the image
Um,
side?
so hold on, good question. So ChatGPT, you could use a free version on Bing Chat. Midjourney just made it free again this past week. They give you 25 free generations. Leonardo gives you 150 free generations, or yeah, every day, I think. And then Ideogram, I think, gives you 20 free or something. And Ideogram just launched their new one. PixArt is also free. So many logins. So many tutorials. Skip it. But let's see.
Wow, the interface looks a lot like Canva.
Yeah. No, it
Well,
doesn't.
Canva bought Leonardo, so
Oh yeah, didn't we talk about that a few weeks ago? I don't know if we got to that, but like it was on our list of things to talk about.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a good move for both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think so Leonardo is this one. If you before last week, basically, or even right now, Canva's image generation really sucks. It's based on Stable Diffusion's open source model, but they didn't tweak it that much. They didn't do any enhancements to it, so it's very raw. So it gets a lot of things wrong. But let's see. Next image, Adobe Firefly. It's also free. All right. Okay, so let's look at the first one. ChatGPT. This is an image of a white French bulldog in a magical forest with magic mushrooms for a very specific demographic. This is Midjourney, and with ChatGPT, it only gives you one.
Yeah.
Midjourney gives you 4 different versions of it. Fairly magical, in different art styles, right? So different renderings of it. So one is kind of like a fantasy image, painting. This is a lot more high definition. This is a little bit more, sorry, this is more photographic. This is more high definition. And this is just an illustration. So it gives you options for it because I didn't specify what it should be. This is Leonardo. And all kind of the same illustrative art style. Ideogram. Didn't make one yet, sorry. And then where is it? Oh, button. So ideogram actually is interesting because they make your prompt better, and then PixArt gives you the option. You could like have this original prompt, click this button, gives you a more detailed prompt, and then Grok gives you one image, and it's that one, so pretty illustrative. And Adobe Firefly gives you all illustration based ones. So for me, like bang for the buck, definitely Midjourney's the best out of this, but I'll show you why you want to test out the other ones too, right? So the nice thing about the DALL-E on ChatGPT is that you could have a conversation with the AI about what you want to make, right? Whereas like all the other ones, you can't really have a conversation. You have to rewrite the prompt basically. This one it remembers what the past generation was and so you could add to it. So let's have dog drinking tea. And we'll start making something, right? Whereas like if you do this with Midjourney, show you what happens there, and then same for here. Well, actually, it's gonna basically come up with the same thing. So ChatGPT now puts tea in front of the dog. Doesn't make sense though, because like I guess I did put magicals. Maybe there's a magical teacups floating around, but this is what happens with Midjourney, right? It doesn't remember that the past conversation was this, so I'll just use that and add that part, and I'll do it with this. Let's see how ideogram did. So ideogram is here, photoreal, magical, something. But that's ideogram, and this is how PixArt did it. What happened? This is PixArt. So the face is kind of bad. For us, right? Yeah, pretty cute. Rock.
So quick question, Carlo and Doc, I guess. This might be a basic question, but just for I guess like for clarity, why do you think that the images generated by the same prompt are so different for these different platforms and models? Is it because the data they're trained on is different, or is it because of the model itself, or is it because of something else? Like, what are your thoughts on why they look like really vastly different across these models, platforms, tools?
Doc, you want to take that first?
Oops, on mute.
Sorry. My guess would be it's the way, in the same way, if you try different large language models, they'll have similar but very different text in the answer. So it's the way the embeddings were trained into the model. But you will also notice that there are similarities also, like for certain terms. Like mamaya, there are actually a list of keywords that consistently produce the same output, let's say in Midjourney and other image generation tools. So I find actually the image generation tools a lot more fascinating in terms of how it's able to dissect like human culture. You see, images and art, this is culture, diba?
Yeah.
And somehow I kind of treat it the same way I would treat notes in music. So you have a musical piece and they're all composed of, you know, tones, notes, chords. So for me, the words that come out of prompts kind of feel like that, no? But of course, it's a very abstract way of thinking about it. And I think no artist would willingly agree that whatever work they were doing can actually be standardized and categorized into certain words and phrases. I think there's a little bit of ego there, they don't want to accept that. But it is what it is, those who already embrace art in AI, they have no problem without it. So anyway, thinking out loud.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons why, right? Like, we didn't really talk much about weights for training models, but basically, like, you could put your own personal values as a person or as a company on the data that you're giving it, and that's kind of called weights, right? It's a very simplistic description of that, but I think they're all kind of trained on the same data. Honestly, all of these AI models now are kind of running into the problem of not having enough data because they've all, you know, gotten all the data from the internet at this point that's available to them. But I think one, this is where companies start to have different values, right? So like, I know the engineer in OpenAI who made DALL-E, and he said
Wow.
they made a really good, really like conscious decisions not to make um, human faces realistic in it because they thought people should have privacy, right? And like that little choice kind of just like changed a lot of things about how DALL-E creates humans, right? Whereas like Midjourney, I think they have a lot more artists who have good taste on their team, and like they were able to define and label and put the different weights based on their values to it. And then that's a lot of the other ones are stable diffusion based, so they're basically like inheriting the weights if they don't tweak it enough. But a lot of it is just training data, or sorry, not the training data, the labeling and the weights on it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. And I think we'll see it more as well in the demo. Siguro later, maybe you guys can show what a good prompt looks like or how prompt engineering looks like in terms of both image gen and video gen. Because I think we saw a bit of that on the LLM side. But kind of in this area, that would be so cool.
Yeah, so this is kind of the limitation. So I just put a new prompt on here. So cubist image of a white French bulldog and a brown and white corgi with the word Manila behind it. And most of these image generators are just terrible at text, right? Because like they're made to make images, not text. So they're not really good at it. But you can tell already that like this is kind of cubist. Sorry, I don't want to get into the technical definition of cubist, but there's a lot of things in here just not cubist. But there's aspects of it that are, right? Still geometric. Um, and then Midjourney's a lot closer to cubism. Like this one's probably, these two are probably the best ones. But it gets the word right because they've invested a lot of time and money in it. Because that's one of the main. So there's two main complaints about AI and image generation. One are like hands and limbs. Two are words. And because Midjourney is only focused on creating the best image generator, they've been investing a lot more in creating the best images, right? So it's better at that. But it still will have problems about like if you know what a corgi looks like, and what a French bulldog looks like, still doesn't differentiate sometimes. So they get the brown and white right, but it's not a corgi anymore, right? Um, this one is Leonardo, and they get the corgi right. They get the brown and white wrong sometimes. Sorry, yeah, most of the time. They get a cubism wrong, but they get some of the words right.
The words right, yeah.
Ideogram, where are you? Ideogram is actually the best at text,
Yes.
but not the best at images, right? So if you're making logos, for example, best to use ideogram, because it just gets the text right. Hold on. Doc's coming back in. This is PixArt. Didn't get any of it right. It's supposed to have the word manila behind it, and it's supposed to be cubist. None of it's right. And there's supposed to be a corgi and a French bulldog, and like didn't get any of that right, right? Grok, let's see. That was pretty good actually.
Oh, it does get the word right too. That's interesting.
It's a word right too. And this is based on the Flux model, which is a new image generator just came out a few weeks ago. Adobe gets the word right, cubism wrong, and then still has problems between like a corgi and a French bulldog, right? But to answer your question quickly, like the difference with prompt engineering with images is that you can't build on past prompts in the same way that you could for LLMs. Like it doesn't have that memory for the most part. And you know, for prompt engineering for, let's say, ChatGPT, you want to be as specific as possible for what you want the output to be. So you could like have really long descriptions for all of it, and then the large language model will try to figure out what you mean and like put the different emphasis on based on what you put in. Whereas for image generators, you kind of want to start the way I just did, right? So you want to start off with a simple prompt and then build on it based on what it's giving you back, right? So it's more of a scientific process, which is just a nice way of saying, you know, you make a lot of mistakes and try to figure out what the best one is. But you know, they have new things where you can start referencing different styles and different images using old prompts, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's basically the main difference between prompt engineering and text AI versus image AI, is that you got to build on past generations to figure out like what you want next. But my suggestion is, you know, you start simple and go on to make it more complex. And then I guess the other thing you should consider is that unlike a ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, it won't actually, it will still process your request on the prompt, but it puts an emphasis on the things that you say first, right? So the cubist part has more weight than like manila behind it, right? This one gets it right, but like, and this one gets it right, but you could see how like PixArt doesn't get it right, right? But that's the main difference. Anything else you want to add on that, Doc, before I pass it to you?
Yeah. I mean, for me, having more than one image generation tool is useful because you can freely kind of swap, you know, generations between them. Maybe can I start sharing to give you guys a good trick? Um,
Go ahead.
am I the Can you make Cyrillics the sharing
Anyone can share.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, this one. Okay. So for me naman, I like using Midjourney as my first as my first generator, and then have the others figure it out. The only reason is Midjourney has a describe function, and that's really powerful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop some prompts here on the chat.
Let's,
And
let's
these are examples. Then I'll also do it here. No, these are examples of some keywords that people have found useful. So, for example, let me zoom in. No? So the generation using Discord is imagine, diba? So
Mhm.
imagine, give me a subject or corgi exploded. I hope this comes out really nice. So whenever you use the word exploded, it creates this, image of whatever the subject was, either wrapped in an explosion, or maybe the subject was exploded. I'll try another one. Imagine banana as corgi. So blank as blank is another series of keywords where two things
Oh,
are
wow.
kind of exploded. So here's the exploded corgi. Really cool, diba?
Wow.
Nice, no?
that's
Now
great.
let's say you like one of them, no? But it's not as straightforward as dropping the exact same prompt. So what I'm gonna do is siguro ito, no? Or maybe this one. This one looks pretty badass. I'm gonna upsize that. And then
Is there a reason why you use 5.2 versus 6?
wala, lazy lang. I can always use 6. But I wanna demo the describe function. So you can either drop a new image or put the link. So I use the link of the exploded corgi here.
Okay.
And then this is the answer, another answer to what you were asking earlier, Amber. Midjourney actually gives you a prompt that can create this image, no?
Oh,
And you can
wow.
see so the difference was I only said corgi exploded, but then when Midjourney reinterpreted it, it's a very involved, lots of words now, beautiful painting of an anthropomorphic fox, blah blah blah. Okay, so let's get that, and let's see what the other image generators can do with it. So let's see what Bing does with it. Let's see what Flux does with it. This is one of my favorite pastimes. I just let the generators go nuts. No? And this is
All of
what
those
this is what you were asking earlier. How come they all come up with
the same.
different renderings?
Mm,
Actually, you'll find that they're more similar than different. Pati si Grok.
same.
Image of yeah,
And then so
idea.
all of those 4 prompts from Midjourney, they all generate the same image kanina.
Well, let's see. Let's see.
Oh,
Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's different. Like this is what Bing Image Creator created. See? Oh, diba? Which is a different take on the same theme. Oh, diba?
yeah.
This is what Flux created. This is what Leonardo created. Oh, it's the creating. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Diba? This is what Grok created. You see, they all are similar but
Mm.
different, no? Ideogram. Ideogram sucks. It forces you to wait. Firefly. We haven't tried Firefly. Let's try Firefly. Yeah. I find that see Grok's pretty fast. See Grok generated immediately. Leonardo's okay. And so is Flux now. Let's try another one. So one of the keywords was banana as a corgi. There you go. I don't know if this is NSFW. Let's try this one. So let's zoom that in. Ano ba yan? 1, 2, 3.
Wait, Doc, can you spell corgi with a C and see?
With a C? Oo nga naman. Wrong spelling.
That's just interesting. It's interesting how it's interpreting it. That's why I'm wondering like
Let's try
go
finding
to-
out.
Parang corgi with a K is like meme interpretation slide. Diba?
So no, sige, take this rather controversial image. So describe whatever that was. I think the corgi with the C is a little safer for work from from this perspective.
Vanilla corgi, vanilla corgi.
Yeah, but look at this. A smiling badger na siya ngayon. A happy, smiling, heroic, and charming raccoon. A happy, smiling, heroic, chubby raccoon character. Sitting on top of an enormous banana. Okay lang. So it's not as
Dapat all
it's
of
not
those 4, when you put any of those 4 prompts back into Midjourney, it will generate that exact image.
let's
no,
see. Let's see. It will give you a kind of a reinterpretation. No?
you gotta
Um
it's on Imagine All. Yeah.
Oh, imagine. Oh, okay, cool, cool.
So it gives you like 4 interpretations in prompt version first, and then you could press on one if you like the first prompt better. But you could press on Imagine All and it does all of it for you. I haven't figured out how to do the describe function on the web interface yet, Doc.
wala siya, wala. It's only on the Discord,
That's
unfortunately.
so cool.
That's why a lot of people don't know it can be done, no? Okay, but I think you get the idea. So let's say we like this photo a lot. I'm gonna save this. Let's see what the image what the video generation tools do with it now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to Kling now. So Kling AI is a Chinese AI. It's one of the best in class in terms of text to video, image to video. So I'm gonna do image to video first, and then later let's do text to video. So you can upload that whatever that was, the banana, and then you can have a prompt. No, the prompt, or you can decide not to have a prompt. No, let's try without prompting muna. No? I think I still have credits. Professional kasi is 20, 35 credits. Standard lang muna. Let's try standard. And then let's try another one with Runway. I think Runway, yeah, I just updated my credits. So Runway has a really good video model now called Gen 3. And I think it can really compete with Kling. No? But sometimes you get surprising results. Now, one thing I like about Runways, you can do specific motions. Like you can shade a portion of the image. So let's crop that. For some reason, it forces you to do a widescreen one. Si Luma rin. Try natin si Luma. One thing I like about Luma is, I think si ano na rin can do it eh. Kling and ano. It gives you it allows you to specify an ending frame. No? So for
Okay.
example, we'll use that one as our start frame. And we'll use some completely unrelated picture as an end frame. Let's see how it animates it. No?
Yeah, the one of you.
The one of me or not me.
Yeah, I was like Doc as Superman.
Pwede,
You,
pwede.
you sitting on an enormous banana.
No, actually, that's what makes the describe function useful. You can edit the prompt. So, for example, go back to the first one. Instead of saying a happy smiling raccoon sitting on top of an enormous banana, you can actually do lots of things with this. For example, imagine
On a watermelon.
on an enormous watermelon.
Also inappropriate, probably.
Actually, there's a trick. You can put braces and you can say watermelon, ano pa? Apple and mermaid. Let's see. So what Midjourney will do is it's gonna ask, do you want to imagine 3 prompts with those
Ah,
variations? No? Say, of course, yes. So it's gonna run all 3, pero iba-iba siya. Isa watermelon, isa apple, isa mermaid. Okay, let's see what the video guys have been up to.
so does that syntax of curly brackets only work in Midjourney, or does it also work in other image gen?
I think that specifics this looks so awesome. Look at that. I want to use this as our opening title for the podcast.
Intro.
Guess I don't have to be the clickbait. We can just have the.
The clickbait we
What
need.
what did Luma do? Tagal.
The clickbait
What
we
about
need.
Kling? Kling's taking forever. Anyway, we'll come back to that later. Yeah, but anyway, that should give some ideas. We still have a few more prompts to try. If you want to try, you can try emojis. You know, imagine you can say happy face and winkies. And for some reason, Midjourney interprets it. It comes up with some abstract crap, no? Another one that I like, the term nulling. So nulling is actually a photographic technique where you lay out many items in right angles. So you can say nulling for camping, and another one called nulling for geese. So you see, ano to? Smiley and Winky created these amazing abstract images. Oh, I
That's
mean,
so
how
interesting.
did Midjourney get this from a Smiley and a Winky, diba? And then now you have a perfect fodder for a describe prompt. You see this? So this is camping. So that's
Ah.
what nulling is. You take a photo of many things and you lay them out in a very symmetrical pattern. No? There's even a guy there. Okay. Oh. Pero itong saan yung nulling corgis? This is what corgis look like. Oh, cool, di ba?
It's so cute. Actually, so cute.
Oh, ang kuwela.
What have you tried other emojis aside from like the smiley and a winky face? Does it also generate like
Actually,
winky?
I have not. Let's try it.
You can actually use the emoji thing on the right side. That one.
Yeah, let's look
Um,
for really cool stuff like the
Have
thumbs
like the
down.
healthy face.
you could even put the Philippine flag in there, and it will change the
Oh,
image based on the
yeah.
Philippines. Um,
Flag.
do it with different flags.
What kind of flag? Asan yung Philippines?
Put in Philippines instead of flag. There's too many flags.
Yun,
Ayun.
PH.
PH.
Thumbs down PH. Let's see what happens.
Like, do we want to see what happens?
Way more.
um, I like this layered paper,
Layered.
corgi. It gives you parang an origami paper mache something. Mamaya, let's have a look. And then let's see how the other image generation. Look at this. Wait, this is looking interesting.
Wild.
Kakaiba. Oh, ito ba yun? Thumbs down? Thumbs
Oh,
down Philippines. This is what it looks like.
why does Thumbs Down Philippines look so good?
Oo nga.
So,
So I think what we're doing here inadvertently is parang we're doing what do you call jailbreaking prompts.
ah,
Kasi Carlo, look at this. Oh.
Ganda.
wow.
Corgi layered paper. Oh, 'di ba? Let's see if the other image generation tools can copy it. So let's do version 1. Let's upsize that. Get the link. And then describe it.
And put a Filipino flag in the.
In the prompt.
Mamaya, when we run the prompt, we'll put a Filipino flag. Okay. Yan. Abstract art, paper art, origami. So mga keywords din. Mga
Oh, wow.
keywords. Imagine all. Let's see. And then while he's doing that, hopefully my PC doesn't crash. Let's let the other image generation tools do it. Let's see who does it the best. Leonardo.
So cool. I like this one a lot.
And
Yes.
then is Kling done? Wait, I have to double check. Rock back. Image of ideogram. This is what ideogram came up with. Not bad. Not bad. Para siyang chalkboard art. No?
Oh, yeah.
From the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Let's generate abstract art. About what? Firefly. Oh, Firefly is even better. Look at that.
That's cool.
It's so detailed also.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
I'm not sure if Firefly actually uses stable diffusion. I don't think they do. Okay, what's Kling doing? Tagal. Ayan na. Kling's done. Oh, Kling's even better.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of action in it, eh.
Still in
Oh,
progress.
wow.
At least he's not eating his own.
Yeah. What about Luma Labs? There we go. This is the one with the ending frame. I wonder how it interpreted it. Ay, boring. it just faded in. It's nice if there's like some action in it. That's why actually of the three, I'm not too keen on Luma because
Really?
there's very little you can do with the action. But for Runway, there's a lot of options. Um, I still like the Runway treatment better.
Funny.
Or maybe
Yeah.
this can be the ending credits, and
For fun.
and then Runway is the opening credits. Galing, oh.
Doc, can you try VIDU?
Video
VI
AI.
VIDU.
Video.
That's a new one from last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Video AI. Video Studio.
The difference with this is that you could actually have like consistent characters, because the hard part with a lot of,
Nice. So do I need to pay or it can be used for free?
I mean,
I'll just sign in.
kapal na mukha nila kung I don't know if it works or not. So,
Yeah. Wait, let's go back and see what our paper corgi looks like. Hey, look. This is
Oh,
what
it's
Bing did.
pretty.
Pretty nice.
It is really nice.
This can almost be a logo already. Look at that.
can you
Like,
Flux.
it just looks like paper art.
Flux is boring, but it's okay.
pretty good. I like it.
Leonardo. Leonardo's also like logo-ish.
Can you try
But
the Philippine flag one with the emoji with the
with the
Midjourney-
prompt.
with the prompt in Midjourney? Let's see if it changes the colors of the.
How do you do the sige, let's try it. And then let's add the Philippine flag.
Probably somewhere in the beginning.
Dito sa start. And then describe that, no?
You don't even have to describe it. Oh,
or,
yeah.
or whatever comes out. So I don't know if the others can handle ano eh. So was this this is the corgi. This is ideogram. It's slightly more interesting. I like this one.
Yeah, the next one is pretty wild. It's definitely some.
Firefly's actually Firefly's been consistently good.
Yeah.
You know, not bad. I
That's
don't
just
even know how I'm
go.
using on the free tier lang to. There's not on the paid tier at all. No? Wait, where is that video? Okay, how do you do this? I have 80 credits.
Oh.
Create video.
Yeah.
Can I upload an image? Hindi kaya, no?
Yeah, you can.
Skip. Drag image. Ayan, sige. Let's
Hey,
use our
you're
appropriate
the one that's
raccoon.
you. Okay.
The banana image. I
Use
know
image
the
as the first name. Wait a minute. Or for character reference. Yan, tama ba?
Have them
And
do
then
it.
create. Or
Yeah.
I'll put a prompt.
Yeah. You can
Raccoon on banana. Has a blast.
no.
I
That sounds
in
good.
queue. Okay, whatever.
So tomorrow you can have it.
have our intro outro. Actually, a related question to that, and also a related to the questions that to the images that you were sending over the week, Doc and
Yep.
Carlo. Ano yung limitations in terms of these image and video gen platforms? Like, where do they tell you? Kasi diba, for example, if you're creating like a language prompt, diba, it will tell you, I can't do that. Where does that happen?
Well, I think there's some of them don't allow you to use proper names. Except Grok. Grok doesn't give a it allows you to say use Elon Musk crucified on a cross, parang ganyan. Pero yung mga iba, like Leonardo is very very safe. Doesn't want and Gemini is next to useless. Won't allow you to use anything.
They Grok started putting censorship on that, so you can still use Elon Musk, but you can't use Donald Trump, for example.
Oh, interesting.
Wala nangyari. It's still the same. Yung ano. I'll try one more prompt and I'll turn it back to you.
That's like a painting,
Subject
though.
made out of subject. So corgi made out of wood. Yeah. And then, but anyway, hopefully you get the point. No? Parang you can use these small keywords to generate a nice image, and then you describe it, and then you have the other image generation tools do their own parang version of it, and that's how you come up with really cool art. And then when you get to it, hey, this is not bad. Wooden corgis. Oh, diba?
Actually, kind of cute.
Ang galing, oh.
Do any image or video gen tools allow you to upload more than one image at a time? Or is it
Only as a start and an end frame. I think Kling can do it. Let's try it.
So with Midjourney, you could do /blend. You could add.
Yeah, you can do blend. You wanna demo that, Carlo? I'll stop sharing.
Oh, go ahead. You already have it up.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know how to do it with the web interface, and I turned off my my Discord.
So blend is you have two concepts that you want to mix. So wait, let me look for some really nice pictures.
I want to mix you and the banana raccoon.
Yeah. Go.
Or why don't we generate two images first para maganda? So stop that. So we'll imagine a nighttime street in Manila with fireworks. Yeah. And then we'll try blending in one of these really nice images with it. So let's use the wooden corgi as our main subject. Okay. And then where's our nighttime image? Yan. Yan. So one of these, maybe number 2. Yeah, it's not bad. It looks photorealistic now.
I was just in Binondo earlier. That looks like Binondo.
It does look like Binondo. I was just gonna say, yeah.
So let's save that. Sometimes the blend comes up with really strange things. So let's see if this will blend very well. So you go with /blend. and you put it's a minimum of two. You can have
Mm.
more than two. So we're gonna do the nighttime shot and the wooden corgi. Let's see what happens. And then you describe the blended shot, generate more variations of it. So talagang in the hands of someone really inspired, you can come up with lots of really cool stuff. Is Kling done? Oh wait, video creation
And
failed.
are people
The image
able?
must contain one and only one person. Huh? Okay.
They don't like the raccoon as a person. Joke.
Kaya nga eh, why don't we just create a totally new
Video.
image na lang?
Have you seen
Raccoon,
that people
ano
are
lang.
able to sell like images or art they made from a journey? Or have you like what is the progress on that? Has it been like allowed as like something people make money off already?
Do you
That's all
know
right.
ano, Noemi Dado? Oh, cool. Look at that. That's an awesome blend.
Right now.
Looks
Yeah,
like
with
the
the
raccoon
fire.
has fireworks in it, no?
Yeah, it's so cute.
Yeah.
Putting core game Binondo.
Oo. Ay, corgi pala. So, ano ba to? Si Noemi, who I interviewed in a podcast, she was able to sell her art as NFTs
Oh,
and
okay.
continues to do so. She
Yeah.
has a full-blown, studio for whatever, no? All of that. And she's one of the most prolific uh AI artists. Although she doesn't want to call herself an artist, yun yung nakakatuwa sa kanya. Still very, very, very humble about it.
So the nice thing about most of these, probably all of these, you have commercial rights to all the things that you make. So one of the things I tested out, one of the businesses I tested out, because I test out a lot of business concepts,
Yeah.
is the AI generated portrait for pets, and I actually made like pretty good money on making custom portraits with AI for pet portraits. So yeah, it's there's something there. Just wasn't enough money that I should focus all my time on it. But there's definitely a business there if anyone wants to do
Correct,
it.
correct.
You can sell
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it's
Right?
still a startup waiting to happen, Carlo. I mean, we
Yeah, so
can
startup waiting to
continue
happen.
doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that's pretty much it. I don't know if you want to do like lip syncs and voice. Maybe I should do one thing pala. The deep faking, face swapping.
Yeah,
So
that would be awesome.
so there is a company called wait is it Insight Face Swap, but it's called something else na. Is I forgot. PIC, Pixie AI. Let me check. Hindi pala. Yeah, this is it. Pixie AI. And then it allows you to face swap on Discord. So I've already gotten the Insight Face Swap bot
Mm.
loaded. Okay. So let's look for a cool uh a cool politician. Who should it be? Harry Roque?
Yeah, he's trending right now, so
Yeah. So I think I already have Harry Roque in my wait lang ah.
pre-saved, already
Yeah.
generated.
I think he's here already. No, I lost him. But I have some of the others. Wait. Sige, let's add Harry Roque. What's a good photo of Harry Roque? This one.
That one.
It's really scowling here, no? Yeah.
Looks pretty
Save
big.
him. Okay.
I love how your saved images are all like what we've discussed. All of these
Well,
political images then. Maybe
this
I
is
should
all for educational purposes only, right? Don't use it for evil. Okay, so you need a keyframe, which is Harry. And you save him as an ID, no? So ID name Harry created. And then we're gonna either uh generate an image, or it's also nice to look for other images like sino ba? Tom Cruise.
ooh.
Tom Cruise fans are gonna hate me for this, no? So yeah, this one. No, that's not high definition enough. This one. By the way, if you try to capture Tom Cruise's face, apparently his agents have already gotten around. It will reject it. No? But
Really?
nothing stops us from swapping it with another face. So we'll swap Harry's face on Tom Cruise's head.
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
Tom Cruise fans.
Oh, shit.
And literally, it's a one-click affair, no? Oh my God!
I don't know how I
Matinee idol. Look at the
how I
pixels,
feel
oh, huling-huli.
The
Let's try another one.
about this.
Harry Rocky.
Marlon. Hindi, tama, si Sylvester Stallone
Oh yeah.
in Rocky. Let's get a good iconic Rocky photo, no? Ayan. This
Oh my
one.
gosh. Iconic.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that I was able to do the face swap even if the faces are in different angles.
Yeah, it'll capture it really, really well, no? Swap ID, Harry. Kaya nga, I don't believe people who say they can detect deepfakes. It's impossible at this point. The only way you can detect it is qualitatively na, that guy would never be in a
Yeah.
boxing ring, ganun eh. Or, shit. Give me something. Ano ba? Godfather, Marlon Brando, Godfather. I think this one was pretty spot on. What's a good photo of Marlon
It's
Brando?
so easy to do. Like, wala pang 1 minute. Few seconds
Yeah,
lang.
this one's iconic. Save this. It's even medyo artsy na nga eh. Wag yan. Get a
Completely
photo one.
also.
From the game, yeah.
Yeah.
What about this one? Yeah. I like this. And then let's animate it using Kling, no? See what happens, no?
What
So,
happens if you face swap? Now there are two people in the picture. Which one will it swap faces with?
I don't know. We can try.
Yeah.
Usually, I cut the photo into two so that
Uh,
it only swaps the right place. Because I actually have tried animating. Oh my God, that's pretty serious, isn't it?
these results.
Oh yeah, let's use this and save this.
This one's pretty good. It's pretty
Not
good.
bad, isn't it? It's not bad. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's go to runway. Runway is the fastest eh. Wag na
And
muna,
honestly, it's
wag na
like
muna si Corgi.
accelerate.
Yan, si Brando.
I can
Tapos
see what
after this podcast airs, no,
now.
suddenly it explodes, no? So many deepfakes. Kasalanan natin.
Oh my God.
For all of our 5 viewers.
Parang naging lengthier tutorial of the TikTok I sent you na how you make yourself hug like a deceased person.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So I added a prompt, Godfather with a gun. Let's see what happens. I'll also try it on Kling as well. So this was the corgi. Wala, boring. It just panned around. So let's change that. And this is how it can really get dangerous. Because if you start adding details that were
Mm-mm.
never on the photo, then it gets really messy. Like 35mm pan shot, Godfather has a gun. Yeah. And
I'm
see what happens.
surprised it allows that nga eh. Diba? Like stuff
Yeah,
with
but if you put proper names, oy, tapos agad, oh. Does the Godfather have a gun?
what-
Oh, no, but it looks like a pretty serious conversation.
No sabi mo. Okay.
It's so good.
Kling matagal. Okay, mamaya we'll come back to it. What about Luma Labs? Let's try that.
But the ones you generated during the week, which one do you use for that one? Mid Journey, right? The one
No, actually, I played around with it. Flux muna.
uh,
Yeah. Let's give you an idea pala, no? Sige. Kasi the gun didn't exist at the mid-journey level. So, what we can do is we can use the photo as a style reference. And then imagine, then you can put the link of the image itself. Godfather has a gun. And then style reference, sref, the image itself. And this has to be version 6. And then once it generates, you can reswap because the image won't be consistent. You can reswap the face back and then have some consistency. So the visual consistency takes a little bit more time to enforce. But in the hands of someone who's really, really decidido to come up with funky images, they can they can do whatever they want, no? Okay.
Yeah, it's cool because it's like layering it almost. Like parang different layers within the same generator, tapos layering across
Yeah.
different platforms as well.
Ayan. So this one has a gun. So let's let it finish. Yan. Okay. So which one is better? I think this number 4 is better. Let's have a look.
Number 4, yeah.
Parang okay din yung 1.
Even 1,
Ito,
yeah.
parang okay to.
Even 1, yeah.
Yeah,
Diba?
1 na lang, 1 na lang, 1 na lang. We'll use
Good.
1. Let's upsize that. Then save
I
that.
don't know.
Yan. Save it. And then reswap it
With the face, yeah.
with the gun and then animate that photo. Wala na. Fake news na agad, 'di ba? The ano pa naman, the swapping takes like a split second, Like command send, maybe just count 10 seconds and the whole thing appears already. There you go. That's him. Yep, that's him. Hey, come
Go.
on. And then you save this. And then let's go back to runway. Runway is the fastest, eh. Runway.
So when you look at the metadata of an image like this, like kunyari, hindi nila screenshot or anything, or they just uploaded yung image that they downloaded from Midjourney. Does it let you know na it's created by Midjourney, or is there anything
No,
in?
it doesn't. We can try it. We can look for it.
The only one
X.
that does the only one that does that right now is Adobe. They have embedded metadata that it's
Yeah.
image generated. But I think Dolly is starting to do that too, but who uses Dolly?
Wala na, fake news na lahat.
No, I mean it's really
Yeah.
people get away with it scot-free. Like I'll upload one.
Yeah.
This is an online metadata viewer.
Yeah.
Let's see what
It
let's see what it gets, no? This is the only thing it got, no? The size, the file data, composite data, wala. Normally if it'll have the watermark like it was created by this person, this user on
yeah.
that time. And then the other fun part is once you upload it into social media, the data gets deleted.
Yeah. Or into Telegram or WhatsApp. The other thing you could tell, but you can't tell here, is that the file naming structure is specific with Midjourney. It always has a username first and then the prompt. But because you ran it through Pixie,
Wala na. It's gone.
It's gone. Wala, fake news na. That's the end.
So see, I'm gonna use the new one with the ending frame with the gun. Now let's see how Luma interprets this. No?
Oh, interesting. Okay, okay, okay.
So there's the original one and then the new one with the gun. Okay. So I think they're similar enough that Luma Labs might try to connect them. But for saan ba? Ito na yung runway version, no? Well, it's not exactly aiming the gun properly, but it's an animated image. Tapos if you try to run it through some AI detection tools, it won't
Yeah.
detect. It won't detect. I
Really?
think
Oh, okay.
is it Deepware? Yeah, Deepware AI. No, let's try that.
Like as is. Like you downloaded as is, no changes. It can't detect it as is.
Yeah, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's go to scanner and then try uploading a video. Wait, I have to download the video first. Maybe the runway one. Sit up na. Yeah, just download that.
while you're doing this, let me just add, like, this AI image video generators are terrible with human motion. Like, if I put on one of my past lives as an animator, it cannot do animations well for humans or like animals really well. But it does like atmospheric things really well. So it's good with like waves in an ocean. It's good with like, things flying around in a magical forest, but it's not good at human motion, making it look natural. That's a but also like making an AI to try to solve that.
See, no deep fake detected. Oh, look, oh.
As is, that's literally just
Predicted deepfake 0.01. See? It gets through eh. I mean these deepfake detectors are really bad to begin with.
And diba yan yung ginamit nila supposedly sa Polvoron video ni
Correct.
President? I remember seeing that dun sa article like that specific one they cited.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and they were saying na this particular video is fake, the other two are authentic, and then the original BBM one was authentic daw. Pero wala. At
That's
least
really, yeah, that's wild that they can say they're like a deep fake detector if even like as is the uploaded video they can't detect na it's
I think they can only detect ata the older deepfakes where you could really perceptibly see where the face and the head end. We used to do that a lot. You know, yeah.
McAfee Security just released their deepfake detector 2 days ago, Friday.
oh
Already,
wow.
can we use it?
I don't know.
Sir,
Just saw the news. I didn't try it because I'm sure that'll make you pay for it. But try it and search.
this image will haunt you forever. Okay, I think that's it for me until to. Last feature. So this is where we had to there you go.
Oh wow.
It's sort of clunky pa
Yeah.
rin, pero but
Wild.
so I guess if you were more, I think, diligent in coming up with many shots, you could
Mm-mm.
literally string them together as a full-length video. Diba?
And this one we did in like a few seconds or minutes, diba? Like think about someone who has a lot of time to actually do this, who's super dedicated, you know?
Yeah, who's really serious about this stuff, diba?
Yeah.
Not like we're not that serious. Okay. That's it
And
for
then
me.
raccoon.
Let me stop sharing.
There's there's a lot more functionalities to all of this that have their own nuances for how to use it for business purposes, right? So, kind of want to just talk about that. Like, there's a lot of things you could use this for on a business. Like, let's say you're in the Philippines, you have a small business or even a big business. Typically, your marketing team will have to like have a photo bank of things they can use for marketing material. If you try to look for stock photography of somebody eating a burger, it's probably usually a white person eating a burger, right, on
Yeah.
the internet. But with AI now, you could just create like a Filipino version of that image, right? You can have more Filipino versions of things for smaller businesses, so you don't have to have photo shoots. You don't have to deal with actors or models or photographers or producers, like all these people that are part of that process now, right? So you could do a lot more with a lot less as a small business owner. But quick plug, like if you want to learn more about how to get the most out of this for like real practical purposes, not just experiments, Doc does a lot of workshops for the public. So I don't know what the next one is, Doc, but he does a lot of them. So just Google Doc. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. Search Doc on the internet, and you'll find a lot of his activities. Or if you want corporate training, I do a lot of that for Skyrocket AI.
Yeah, that's great. So I think we're almost out of time, guys. But as the last kind of closing question and to end the session, I really enjoyed. I love seeing what we can do with AI, image gen, and just like video gen. I'm definitely gonna make it my hobby now, my pastime. But yeah, in terms of where you see image and video generation going in the Philippines, how do you see it in the next like 2 to 5 years? And also, what industries within the Philippines itself do you think will be using this the most, if any? I know you mentioned marketing, Carlo, but are there any other ones that you think will be using it?
I mean, I think the ones who should use it is going to be small businesses, right? As a small business, you probably shouldn't spend all your money on TV ads or Facebook ads or any kind of marketing, even though I do have a business that benefits from that. But I think as a small business, you should try to use your money as much as possible on the things that matter the most, right? So you can do all these things by yourself on your own without having a photographer, without having to buy a fancy camera, without having to find the right set even, and put all of that together. But I think in 2 to 5 years, in the Philippines, this is what gosh, I said this last week, but I hate this word, democratization looks like, right? Like it's just things are going to be more equal for people who don't have the time, skill, or interest to spend that much time getting an image right or a video right. These tools are getting to that place where anyone can just use them and create something that's commercial value, right? I think is going to change how people think about what they need and why they need it and how much they're willing to pay for it. But yeah, really excited to see what people make too, right? Like in a past life, I was a creative director, so I think I still have some illustrative and painting and whatever animation skills, but I don't want to spend my time doing that right now, right? Like that's not the best use of my time. There's a point in time in my life where I enjoyed that, but like now I just want the end product and seeing how the market reacts to it, right? Like, and I think everyone else who are like me or not like me who haven't had the training or like time to learn all that stuff, they can do all this stuff now and create some really interesting things, right? And I'm really excited to see what kind of stories are told because people are using these image and video generators where they didn't have access to this before.
Ako, I see it as similar to photography back in the day. Photography was not considered art. And I was reading, there's actually an article by Gary Marcos that I sent to you guys just now, the New Yorker.
Yeah.
The main contention was the effort. It didn't seem like a lot of effort for a photographer to capture light and create an image, no? And that was the weird parang criteria. If you didn't spend that much effort, if it's too easy, then it can't be art. And for me, of course, I'm not naman talaga a commercial artist or anything, but I find that parang argument pretty weird, na just because it's not. I actually was asked the same question in I was giving a talk in one school that banned chat GPT, but anyway, so I was talking to their teachers, and and what actually the question was pretty interesting. Sabi niya, um parang struggle daw. So it's like effort also. Struggle and pain are crucial elements in producing artistic expression. Of course, I didn't really buy that. I said, well, not every artist suffers producing art, but I can understand why some artists would suffer. Maybe it's part of their process. So I said, I can't debate you on your process. If that's your process and how you create art, then so be it. But maybe my question would be, how productive are you with your process? Because end of the day, you want to produce output so you can sell your art unless it's purely for expression. And there are also artists like that. And sabi ko, well, whether you struggle or not, are you able to produce enough art to be profitable or to be productive? Because that's the ultimate measure of what these tools can do, Just like photography made portraiture faster, di ba? Once upon a time, people had to pose for hours or days in front of an artist for, the artist to capture them accurately. Ngayon, if you want to have a portrait done, you give them a photo, di ba? So even photography and portraiture also converged. So it was an open-ended question. I don't think I was able to adequately answer. I think my only parang takeaway there is just like photography, if there are people who are anti-AI, I don't think they will be convinced whether you argue it or not. So sad to say, it depends, no? If are they gonna survive the market where every other artist is using AI? The same with agencies, di ba, Carlo? Like advertising, digital marketing. They can always insist that all our creative output is all human developed. But will that make you competitive versus our agencies that can instantly create videos and pictures in a flash while you're still busy haggling with your artists. Parang hindi, di ba? So anyway, I guess it still remains to be seen, but I think it's gonna follow what happened to photography very closely.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
article was interesting. Sorry, real quick, Amber.
yeah.
The article was interesting. It was written by Ted Chiang, which is like one of my favorite short story writers, right? He wrote a lot of books, but one of them from 2019 or something called Exaltation, which is really good collection of short stories. And he makes a point of like, it's never going to be art. AI is never going to make art because you don't the photographer will, have to change a bunch of settings and knobs and lighting and all of that stuff. But like obviously this guy's never tried Stable Diffusion, right? Because like the amount of things you could change in a Stable Diffusion setting, you could change the VIAs, you could change the generations, you can change all kinds of things. The interface is too clunky. There's too many things you can change in an AI image. But I do think like you're right, Doc. Like at the end of the day, art is valued by the person looking at it,
Yep.
not the person who made it. And if you're not using any of this stuff, maybe some people will care, maybe some won't. Like, there's always going to be room for someone who likes Encanto beer versus San Miguel, but
Yeah.
San Miguel still makes more money, right?
Yeah,
And
and I think
remember, even photographers despised Photoshop once upon a time, diba? And
yeah.
it was only when all photography migrated to digital photography. So the whole concept of developing a photo pretty much died, no? And then Photoshop became the de facto developing studio. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna follow that very closely. Eh. So later, all this like my dad was SLR aficionado, no, and he actually developed his own pictures. When he saw that cameras were all digital now, he pretty much gave up on his hobby. I don't want to do photography anymore because everything's digital, no. And I remember that. I mean, that's up to you kids if you want to play around with that anymore. I don't believe in it. So I think there will be some diehards who pretty much will not accept the way, the technology will go. And 'di ba, we met si AJ, 'di ba?
It's
Carlo. Yeah.
one of the best
He's
graphic
complete
designers in the Philippines.
he's completely embraced AI. Sabi niya, I'm not a machine learning engineer, but I use AI for my art. And actually the face swapping stuff I learned from him, no? So, it's I think it's almost a done deal. I think we're just gonna watch it in slow motion, as this AI swallows all of these guys.
But I think
Unfortunately.
the day after that is where new art styles will start emerging, right? Like Doc, you always talk about, sorry, not always, you talk about this progression from realism in the Renaissance and the
Yep.
Enlightenment eras in art, where artists wanted to, like Rembrandt, wanted to capture somebody in a portrait in the realest way possible through oils and mostly oils. And then photography came out, cubism came out right after that. So like it'd be super interesting to see what
What
artists
happens to art, no? Yeah, exactly.
artists will create after that, right? Because I think even last year when I saw used to be on a board for a art collective art residency, and even then the artists were like talking about what can we do that AI could never do, right?
Yep.
So unfortunately, I had to tell them what AI could do, but I could do a lot. It's like they were like, "What about if we just do more sculptures?" I'm like, "Yeah, this isn't AI, but have you heard of 3D printing? It's a thing."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people will still want to express themselves different from anyone else who could ever have expressed themselves, whether with machines or without. And yeah, interesting to see what the next movement is and human-made expression. Maybe that's
And
what.
even if there's no new movement, apart from photography, my other inspiration is still music. We didn't do the music stuff. Maybe we'll do it in the next episode. Um, the notes on a piano haven't changed for centuries. Same 88 keys because you can only hear a certain diba, range in the spectrum. But then on the basis of those keys, artists continue to create unlimited new music. Although kaya nga it's easy to do mashups nowadays because every other song has the same chord progression with probably some other song in like 20 years ago. And now you can
Yeah.
now mash them together. But that doesn't stop artists from creating new music, diba? So I feel art will follow the same. Parang suddenly it's a mashup na. Ngayon they call it plagiarism. But musicians have always said, hey, I'm doing a cover. I'm not necessarily plagiarizing, the original music. And they actually see, yeah, in software development, we copy code from each other all the time. That's why GitHub exists, diba? So I think it's very different attitudes towards the same piece of work. Or in research, you can cite another person's research and build on it. Why can't that happen in art? I think that there's a little bit of ego that needs to dissolve because of all of these tools. That's just me.
And Picasso, or this quote is attributed to Picasso, right?
Yep.
Good artist copy, great artist steal. But I do think there was an innovation in the keyboard, or sorry, the piano, where Casio Tone made a keyboard where you could like record different beats and all that stuff. But it's kind of the same thing. Like they didn't make a bigger piano.
Yeah, it's the same thing, diba?
I mean,
Uh,
maybe the organ is a bigger piano, but yeah, most of the innovations have made smaller pianos and less keys, right? But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and I think art evokes emotion, right? And we're seeing now as well that AI generated art, whether it's like images or video, or not even art, just AI generated images are evoking emotion. So it's kind of interesting to see how that'll play out in the next few years as well. Like I was pretty surprised to find yung mga hugging your deceased relative stuff on TikTok, and it's just by like regular Filipinos, right? Not necessarily
Mhm.
like AI engineers or ML engineers, just like people who miss their relatives. So I'm excited to see how they kind of put AI into that mix. And also like how you both mentioned, how people can be more creative. Because I feel like a lot of the time, sometimes people have like these ideas that they can see it in their heads, but then actually executing it is a bit harder. So now that we have these tools, you can literally just like write it in a prompt or put parang pegs, design pegs, and then try and recreate that. So hashtag democratization. But excited to see how all of that plays out as well.
I think
Um,
the big issue though is really fake news. I think that's where people are stuck. I mean, it's a nice thing to do, fiction and creativity. Pero if people are getting, a fake news, medyo delikado. That's what I think. Parang before kasi you could always validate a photo or validate a picture, right? Ngayon, I don't know. It's
Good.
crazy.
And I'm starting to think like, I was on the Rappler board a few years ago and Doc's on the board for PCIJ, right? Uh, Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism. Is that it?
Yep.
So we've thought a lot about like how do you find fake news, and Doc's even made some technology triangulating fake news based on like Google Analytics accounts, like all of these things, right? I think at the end of the day, reputation still matters, and
yeah.
like get your news from reputable news sources, and they'll try their best. They're not going to be perfect. They're going to try their best to validate all of the stuff before they publish it. But social media makes it harder because everyone is kind of a publisher now. But yeah, I think fake news still gets solved by reputable sources, right? And I think that's kind of the only solution. There's too many technologies that can make fake content now. None of the detectors are good, and I've tried to make a deepfake detector a couple of times.
It's hard, diba? It's hard.
It's impossible. I probably have the most deepfake technology in the Philippines at this point. Because been trying to detect it for 5 years. It's impossible. Like there's new ways to do it every week. There's a
Yeah,
and
tsaka I don't think we have a vetted data set of deepfakes.
Yeah.
Kasi well, actually there's two things. That's why I'm skeptical it can be done in the near term. Number one, there's no canonical data set that these are fake and these are not true. At the same time, all anomaly detection works on the basis of distribution, 'di ba? Like when you want to detect an edited photo, the pixels that were edited will have a different
And yeah.
data distribution from the original. But in the case of these AI generated photos, the whole photo is consistent. It follows the same distribution.
Be
So
smooth,
it's
yeah.
impossible to detect. Parang kanina, si Deepware couldn't detect can detect where the face is, but it can't make a ruling whether that face was manufactured or not, no. So I think we need a different way of doing it. And I don't know what that way is, but it can't be the same way we've been doing. Parang in large language models, you can't use mean squared error or R squared to determine if the model is faulty because by definition, the predicted text will follow the same distribution as the trained text. So it's actually an accurate prediction, but it doesn't mean that it's truthful or factual. That's a totally different measure. And I think that continues to elude people. So the best option I've seen now is you also use a large language model to judge whether the output of a large language model makes sense or not. But then that's a circular argument. How do you know if LLM as a judge is actually accurate? No? So I feel that that's kind of the stalemate right now in generative AI. There's no way to measure accuracy unless a human being steps in and makes a call, diba?
I'm saying sources matter the most. Where you get the information matters the most.
And to your point, I feel like with any new innovation, right? Inherently, I don't think it's good or bad. It's like what we do with it, right? Like whether they're bad actors or whether you're using it for good. So I feel like it's also kind of a reminder for us to go back to like our cultural values as well, right? Na parang, okay, now that we have this cool AI stuff, paano ba natin gagamitan as a society, right? How are we moving forward and what are we allowing, not just what's technically permissible or what's technically possible, but in terms of what we can tolerate as people, as a government, as a country. Diba? Ano ba yung like papalipasin natin versus what will we put our foot down on. So I'm also interested to see how that plays out and how AI kind of moves in an intertwined way with like politics, with culture, and just like all the social implications as well, right? Like what types of questions will we be asking ourselves?
That's true.
Very true. Good points. All right. I think
So
that's
I think we're like way out of time. But
it's the end of our 30-minute image generation and AI video
Was it
podcast.
just 30 minutes? I think this was an hour.
No.
I mean,
our weekly 30-minute podcast. But yeah, so thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much to my amazing co-hosts, Carlo and Doc. Really enjoyed this conversation as usual, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
see you later.
Bye,
Stay
guys.
on.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for watching and listening to the AI Republic podcast. Stay tuned for more topics and conversations about the AI space with Carlo, Doc, and Amber. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our weekly podcast episodes.